Okay, so hello everyone. So my name is Mr Hakiki, and I'm one of the teachers here from FocusIELTS.com. Now, in this video, I want to show you some tips and strategies here in how to answer task one. In how to answer task one and task two of the writing test. So as you can see, in doing both of the tests, you only have around 60 minutes. So time management is very important. Therefore, understanding what you have to do is also a significant factor. Okay, so now as you can see here, if you look at this, what you will see is that this is task one. You have to just make some kind of report. In this case, you have to report about 2 data sets, one of a paragraph and one of a pie chart. Now, in this case, what you have to do is then you have to, the first thing you have to do is you have to follow the structures of the task one. So as you can see here, you need 3 paragraphs because you are talking about, you will later on discuss about 2 data sets. Now, the first paragraph is the introduction paragraph. Now, in this paragraph, what you want to do is you want to explain what both data are about. So, for example, you can say, now, in doing this, you can look at the instructions here, but you don't want to copy them, okay? So what you have to do is you want to paraphrase them. So you can say the bar chart, you can say the bar graph illustrates the number, or you can say the percentage. So percentages of poverty in rural areas in 2 different years of 1993 and 2002. Meanwhile, the pie chart explains as you can see here, he's talking about rural versus urban, explains the share the percentage of poverty based on areas, and you can mention kind of areas, rural and urban, in 2002. So this is the first thing that you would want to do. Explain what the data sets are about. And when you do that, you can refer to this. Remember, don't copy it, but what you do, paraphrase it using the O. So as you can see here, the meaning is the same, but most of the words are changing. That's what you want to do. And then the next one, what you want to do is you want to find the overview. Now, an overview is a sentence or some sentences that explains the general idea of the graph. Now, because there are 2 data sets here, you have to the overview has to represent both of them. Now, in identifying the overview, as you can see here, you have to find the trend. So in this case, it's talking about more than 2 years, right? So therefore, the comparison is lower. There's a decrease, there's a trend, increase, decrease, and so on. Now, as you can see here, there's a tendency. Yeah. Oh, sorry. As you can see, the comparisons between the areas. So as you can see here, that this is as you can see here, this is the same. This is higher, this is higher, this is higher, this is higher, and this one. So the anomaly that you see here is this one here, this one here. Okay, and then as you can see here, this is very clear that rural areas have the highest rate of poverty. So what you want to say, you can say overall Most areas. Okay, so you can say most areas. Most regions, you would say, right? Because these are regions, right? Latin America. Most regions have a higher poverty rate. Okay, sorry. So what you want to do here is you have to look at this. So this one's, so there's an increase. Okay, so yeah, we're looking at the data the wrong way because there are 2 years here. So what we want to do is begin to look at the first, like what we discussed, the first one. So this one remained the same. This one decrease. This one decrease, decrease, decrease. Meanwhile, this one increase. Like it's okay. So you could say overall, the poverty rate in most regions. Okay. You can say overall the poverty rate in 4 regions decreased in between the 2 years, while the other 2 regions either decreased or remain the same. So as you can see here, to increase this one. Now, as you can see here, I'm using the past tense. Why? Because the data is in the past tense. I mean, you will only be using simple present in this one here, okay, in the first sentence. And then explain overall the poverty rate in 4 regions decreased in between the 2 years, while the other 2 regions either increased or remained the same. Now, that explains this one. So you have to explain this one as well, right? The pie chart. Okay. So overall to the use, while the other 2 regions either decreased or remained the same. And rural areas had significantly higher, had a significantly higher number as opposed to the urban areas in terms of the poverty rate in 2002. So that represents both data sets. So that's what you want to do. So this then will become your first paragraph. Now, therefore, in the second and third paragraph, you will explain, you will compare what the trends that are happening in the bar graph and also in the pie chart. So in this case, what you will do if you want to compare them. And now, here we already made a grouping, right? We already made a grouping in which group the ones that decrease and the ones that either increased or rose. So here you can start off by comparing the similarities. Yeah, compare the similarities between the 4 regions that showed a decrease. Okay, so you want to show them how they decrease, and this one's followed by the 2 regions that either increase or stay the same. So that's the overall way you would want to explain your paragraph. Now, of course, in here you will use a lot of some comparative words, higher, lower, similar, in contrast, and those are the important words when explaining task 1. And also what you want to use increase, decrease. However, you don't want to repeat increase all the time. So maybe try to find another synonym of increase or another synonym of decrease, and so on. Okay, now, one thing to remember is that when you explain the data in the details paragraph, whether it's in the second or third paragraph here, make sure to mention the numbers. Okay. Because the most common mistake is that they compare between, for example, if you take Middle East and North Africa and South Asia, for example, they will just say this: Middle East and North America and South Asia had similar decreasing trends. And that's all. Where's the numbers? So you want to mention the numbers. So as you can see, it's very similar, right? And maybe you can just try to guess there's maybe like a 2 or 3% decrease, yeah? In which they both had a 2% decrease. So these are one of the ways that you can mention them. So you can mention the numbers, the gap between the numbers, or you can mention in which blah 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 decreased from 80 to 78, while this decreased from 80 to 676 or something like that. There are many ways to explain data. And then in the third paragraph, what you want to mention here, explain the pie chart. Okay, so as you can see here, there's not much information here, so you won't be writing as much as you will be writing in the second paragraph. So maybe this only consists of maybe only one sentence, yeah, mentioning that in this case the rural areas are much more significant, yeah, because the number is 76%. So, and another way, when you talk about percentages, maybe you don't want to just mention about the percentages, but you want to use fractions. Yeah, so this is just for a variety of vocab. For fractions, for example, you can say 76%. You can say equals to around three quarters. So that's what you might want to say. Okay, so that's basically about the task 1. So you can use these strategies in employing when doing the task, and you want to have an idea first, yeah, of the structure like we did before, and then after that you expand, yeah, on the details. So that's for task 1. Now, if you look at task 2 here, okay, okay, so if you look at task 2 here, now in task 2, the writing style is a bit different. Then task 1, we were asked to write a report. In task 2, you will be asked to write an essay. Usually it's an argumentative essay, giving your opinions or whatnot. Now, in this case, as you can see, let's look at the topic together. Some people believe that history has no value in the contemporary world, but some people believe that we still need history to learn from the past. Discuss both viewpoints and give your opinion. Now, you'll be given a topic, and then there's this instruction. You have to pay attention to the instruction because there are different types of instruction. In this case, we are given a discuss both views type of essay. Now, like before, you want to have a structure to your essay. Okay, you want to have a structure to essay. Now, for that, you can look at this. Okay, for that, you can look at this here. So this is a structure for a discuss both these essays. You can see here, it is what we call a two-sided essay because we have to provide 2 viewpoints. So we have to mention both viewpoints. Here we are not asked to give whether we agree or disagree, but we have to equally explain both of them. However, as you can see, give your opinion. However, we still need to give your opinion, give our opinion. Where do we put that? Well, let's look at the structure here. So basically, like any other writing task 2, there will be 4 paragraphs: the introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and then the conclusion. Now, because it's discuss both views, of course, this one will just agree side 1, meaning that this one will explain, yeah, our viewpoints on side 1, in which case is we believe that history is not important today in the modern world. And the second one, the other point of view is that we still need history to learn from the past. So one said it's not important, one said it's important. So we have to provide both ideas of how we have to explain both of our ideas. So here, what we want to do is we want to be neutral. Yeah? We don't want to say I agree, I disagree. You do not want to use those kind of languages. Okay, so where do we put our opinion then? Now, your opinion can be put here. Okay, so this is in here is what we call a thesis statement. So for example, a thesis statement might look like this. This essay will explain both perspectives on learning history. Sorry, not on learning, it's on history, and provide arguments that favor the latter. Now, so as you can see here, this essay will explain both perspectives on history and provide arguments that favor the latter. So provide arguments that favor the latter. So in this case, by mentioning this is my opinion that I will provide arguments that will show that we will favor the latter. Okay, so that's what we want to do. Nah, itu berarti yang harus kita perhatikan ya. So, jadi kita menunjukkan opini kita di sini. Okay, and then after that, of course, selanjutnya kita tinggal ceritakan opininya. Jadi kita di sini pernyataan kita, topik sentence kita di sini kita tinggal mengambil ini. Kita tinggal tulis. Kita tinggal tulis seperti ini. For example, it is believed that learning history is of no use in the modern day. So that's what you want to do. Okay, now of course ini argumen kalian. Jadi apa yang perlu kalian lakukan di sini? Yang perlu kalian lakukan di sini adalah memberikan alasan. Kenapa kalian bilang seperti itu? Alasannya bisa 1, alasannya bisa 2, terserah. Jadi misal kalian nggak setuju karena kalian bilang nggak perlu, buat apa kita belajar masa lalu? Kan nggak ada gunanya. Yang terjadi dari masa lalu terjadi masa lalu, itu jelaskan di sini. Saya kasih contoh. Jadi di sini setelah kita memberikan alasan justifikasi kenapa kita bilang seperti itu, kita kasih contoh yang memberikan lebih menegaskan. Ya contoh itu bisa contoh yang pernah kalian alami, tapi jangan pakai I. Meskipun kalian pernah alami, tapi jangan pakai orang ketiga. Some, okay. To generalize saja, some Indonesians, some people, younger people, seperti itu. Meskipun itu pengalaman kalian sendiri. Or you can just take an example yang diketahui banyak orang, kayak gitu. Terus terakhir itu di-conclude. Jadi ini penekanan kembali. Jadi penekanan kembali dari kita, thus it is clear that bla 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 bla. Nah, thus it is clear, sangat jelas bahwa sudah tidak diperlukan lagi belajar sejarah. Jadi gitu. Nah, otomatis di sini sebaliknya. Di sini kita tinggal menyatakan ulang, ya kan? In contrast, karena ini kan sebuah hal yang berbeda. In contrast, some argue that that history still has great importance for still has great importance for modern people, for the modern people, maksudnya orang-orang sekarang. Jelaskan alasannya kenapa kok penting kita belajar sejarah. Ya, biar kita tahu kita berasal dari mana, perjuangan pahlawan-pahlawan dulu bagaimana, belajar dari kesalahan dan lain-lain. Ya mungkin seperti itu ya. Kalian nggak harus sebutkan 5-3 alasan, mungkin 1 alasan cukup. Kalau itu bisa kalian elaborasi 2. Mungkin kalau kalian kurang bisa elaborasi, kasih 2 alasan. Contohnya apa? Terus kesimpulannya apa? Bisa kata therefore it is history is bla 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 is still needed. Nah gitu. Terus di conclusion ya kalian tinggal menulis ulang apa yang kalian tulis ini. Jadi kan in conclusion bisa dilihat bahwa sejarah mempelajari sejarah itu pembelajaran sejarah atau pengetahuan sejarah itu banyak perdebatan ya. Di satu sisi ada orang yang bilang tidak perlu dikarenakan hal ini, di satu sisi banyak orang yang berargumen bahwa ini masih perlu dikarenakan hal ini. Masih netral kan ya? Nah, tapi tambahkan opini kita terakhir. In my opinion, nah di sini bilang in my, baru kita tulis in my-nya di sini, in my opinion. Saya rasa mempelajari sejarah itu masih sangat penting karena atau in my opinion belajar sejarah tidak perlu. Jadi opini kita hanya kita sebutkan di bagian akhir conclusion sama bagian akhir paragraf pertama. Itu aja yang menunjukkan kita mengarah ke sisi yang mana. Selain dari itu di sini kita bersikap netral. Kita bersikap netral saja. Jadi kurang lebih seperti itu. Jadi sebelum kalian menulis, entah itu tas 1 sama tas 2, pastikan kalian pahami dulu strukturnya gimana. Biar kalian sudah ada bayangan gimana ke depannya kalian bisa mengembangkan ide-ide kalian. Kalau tanpa hal seperti ini, kalian nanti akan bingung merangkainya seperti apa. Dan ingat, salah satu penilaian selain dari grammar, vocab, dan lain-lain, salah satu penilaian adalah bagaimana kalian bisa menjelaskan, memberikan jawaban terkait dengan soalnya dengan baik dan benar. Dengan baik dan benar otomatis dengan struktur dengan yang baik dan benar. Jadi mana strukturnya kita sudah bahas ya, untuk tas 1 seperti apa, dan tas 2 seperti apa. Kurang lebih kalian tinggal mengikuti kerangka-kerangka seperti ini, dan kalian kembangkan, tulisan kalian akan bisa jadi seperti itu. Okay, so that's it for today. Hanya kita cukup sampai situ. Di sini kita hanya membahas tips strategis ya, biar kalian bisa ada bayangan lah bagaimana kita mengerjakan writing IELTS test. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.